You think you've got my number figured out? A motive born in drought and brevity. And if I'm not the soul of your design, I blatantly decline your remedy. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine. I wasn't always just a single shade, a palette full of gray in reverie. And I can burn it brighter than the sun. I have a golden gun inside of me. Don't box me in, don't, or I'll leave. I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else. And if I fall behind, ignoring all the signs, and if I lose the fight, I still rage against the night. Don't box I'd rather be a dreamer, I'd rather be free, I'd rather be a leader, I'd rather be a queen, I'd rather be a singer in a trashy cover band. I'd rather be a closer, I'd rather be clean, I'd rather be a poser in a magazine, I'd rather be pretty much anything else than your machine.
Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Thursday stream. I hope everyone's having an awesome Thursday. Welcome. Good to see everybody. Kurgenstein's Monster, Michael Hasser, welcome. Bruno, John Lithium, welcome everybody. It looks like there's a study that finds a link between COVID vaccines and combating cancer. I think they were doing research on that. Oh, there goes the camera. I'm pretty sure they were doing research on mRNA technology to combat cancer. Of course, all of that got heavily underfunded or removed because RFK Jr. Has done away with a lot of that. But I'm pretty sure I've seen articles way before all of this was going down about the potential for mRNA technology to help with cancer. The COVID vaccines were a huge leap forward. Yeah. It's the mRNA technology, and that was the camera got defunded. That's right. Yeah, that's it. I genuinely don't know what oh goodness, what happened with the camera. Invest in leeches. It's such a nice camera too. I don't think it's the camera. I think it's the I think it might be one of these little, what is it, the capture card thing that may be messing with it from Elgato. But yeah. I genuinely don't know. Ladybug, welcome. I got Vax and the booster. Heck yeah. The camera wants to start a socialist revolution. Yeah, it's demanding it sees the means of production from me, the capitalist boss. All right, folks. Today's going to be another shorty. Another shorty, because it's Friday Junior, folks. I'm ready, okay? I'm ready. I'm ready to go. I'm ready for Friday and the weekend, and in a couple of weeks it's going to be holiday season. Yeah, why are shareholders controlling them? Yeah, it's even worse than shareholders. It's a single entity controlling it, and it's me. Like the camera doesn't even have shareholders. It just I'm the sole I'm the sole controller of everything. Heat, how's it going? You're looking more like a wizard every day, Harry. That's true. I do have, like, whenever my hair gets all poofy like this, I usually have it like tied back when I'm trying to be a bit more professional. But yeah. Honestly, the only bad thing about getting the shots beside the day's worth not feeling as great as you start noticing people immediately start coughing and wheezing all around you. Yeah, sometimes, I mean, like, I didn't really have that much side effects, honestly. Like, for you to have some serious side effects from the vaccine, like, it's very rare. Like, even I didn't feel anything with my vaccines. I think the worst that happened is I felt a little weak, but that's about it. Harry Wizard. Yeah, look, I got besides myself, um, got Lego Gandalf back there. So there are multiple wizards on this stage here. Kirkenstein's monster. I had a day and a half of general fatigue. Yeah, that's probably normal. You shall pass on to the next scene. Let's get started. Ooh, excuse me. JDA Free, welcome.
It's going to be interesting. We've been saying this for a while. They're obviously going to come to New York City. And the difference between an LA and even a Chicago and New York is the density. There's no places.
Anytime you see an act of resistance, folks, like I always try to rally around it, because now more than ever, it is important that we stand up in whatever ways that we can. I've said this several times, but I'm going to keep saying it. Now more than ever, it is time we stand up in the ways that we can. Also, just quick shout out, thank you, Michael Hassler, for the links up there. Check out all the stuff, do all the things. I don't like being sick. That's what I always tell people when they say weird shit about the vax. I like not having the flu. Yeah, exactly. So any act of resistance is important to highlight, however big or however small.
In New York, where you're going to be able to roll up on people without there being a lot of people around. And this is a good example of it. Set the stage here, Emma.
Yeah, so we got word yesterday that ICE agents raided Canal Street, and this is very much likely based on the fact that there was a TPUSA right-wing internet personality named Savannah Hernandez, who over the weekend had 2 separate posts where she basically tagged ICE and told them to clean up the area. And
yeah, I've heard this rhetoric before. Like, it's so telling how they say like ICE is cleaning things up. What they mean is like ethnically cleansing. That's what they mean by cleaning the area up. They're talking about sweeping up brown people, right? That's what needs to be cleaned up. The others know the truth. It's called the American dream because you need to be asleep to believe it. Yep. I remember wearing a mask to the store once and this guy mugged on me when I walked by. People are weird. Yep.
it seems like within 48 hours at the very least.
People should like mind their own business and have more and probably have more being more conscious with that you know, as it turns out, people, you're not the only person that exists in this world. There are other people. Yeah, honestly, cleaning is, I'm sure, unironically a very apt term. Yeah, that's exactly how they feel about it. Aren't they specifically rounding up brown people at residence permits, or are they just getting rid of all brown people now? They're just wrapping up whoever looks has the Family Guy complexion, right? Like that's the level of operations that we're dealing with. Even if you're a U.S. citizen, it doesn't matter. you can very much be detained by ICE. In fact, they've detained several citizens who had papers on them, and they said that those papers were fake. There was an incident with a U.S. citizen that had their birth certificate, and they said it was fake. There was another incident with a citizen where they had a passport, and they said the passport was fake, and they were detained for quite a minute. Yeah. About people minding their business. Yeah, it's not, it's like, exactly. Like, first of all, mind your business. Second of all, there are other people other than you. And it kind of says a lot about you if you're the one that is scoffing at the one person trying to do the right thing and trying to protect people around them. I mean, like, yeah, dude. It just says everything about you. Crazy. No, it's been a thing. And it's been a thing. Yeah, it's basically that Family Guy meme with color swatches. Oh, ADT? I'm an ATD. Alright, you know what? You'll get a round of applause for that one.
ICE responded to it. We can play what happened yesterday, and then, if you'd like, how do you think the sequencing makes sense, Sam?
Okay.
The right-wing personality first in chronological order? Okay,
Yeah, let's do the
that.
chronological order.
Yeah, because so this is this woman, Savannah Hernandez, Turning Points USA, and she had posted this over the weekend. The
poverty of the reactionary
It seems
mind.
like this is how ICE and DHS is operating, is if you have a right-wing online spectacle or attention drawn to it, they will respond to you, and she got what she wanted.
This is Savannah Hernandez in New York City, and okay, my friends, I was just driving down the street, I was Ubering, and I saw this huge market of African migrants selling all of these bags along this sidewalk. The sidewalk was actually completely full of people, so I was like, okay, pull over, let me see what's going on. Now, I'm walking along this street, and the entire sidewalk was completely packed with people.
Oh my god, people that don't look like me. So scary. So scary. People that don't look like me.
These
minding their own business.
Louis Vuitton bags, buying these YSL bags. Obviously, all of them are knockoffs. Now, I spoke to some of the migrants. They were telling
Obviously. She's got a status remain. Shouldn't she be deported too? She thinks she's white.
me they're all from Senegal.
Genuine question, how does she know they're African migrants? She doesn't. This is racism.
And as I'm walking around, they all start grabbing their bags very quickly. Again, this entire block was filled with all of these bags, and they picked them all up very quickly.
Oh man,
Within
look
2
at
minutes,
that.
they all started
So scary, man. Look at all the scary migrants with their check notes, bags of bags. Wow. I mean, this is terrifying stuff, though. Terrifying stuff. Imagine that. Imagine being confronted by one of these migrants trying to sell you a bag. I know, it's a scary thought. Yeah, doing free enterprise is not the right way. Yeah, and also they don't fit the description. They could be from Detroit. Looks like they're fleeing before the police come bust them up, but no, the migrants are dangerous. Yeah, I mean, it's so scary, man. You know, I can't imagine living in a city where people are selling bags.
jumping in vehicles, running away. I was speaking to one of the migrants, and he ended up telling me.
All right, whatever. So, you can see that she's breaking news here. They sell counterfeit bags on Canal Street. I don't know if you've ever heard this
Is she
before.
from New York?
No.
I mean, I'm guessing.
that would,
no.
Shocker.
that would make sense. I mean, this has been going on for
Forever.
I mean,
I
can
mean, like,
attest to it
seriously,
being-
this is like, you know, in Miami or in Florida, you'd see like street vendors all the time. I mean, like, I don't understand. Like, this is not like a uncommon thing. Like, yeah, dude, this happens. Like, I don't understand. So like, these are the very, very scary people that we need to deport and detain and put in concentration camps. Got it.
Going on for at least 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
This is fork found in kitchen mode here. Wow, what investigative journalism. She's really brave. I hope she's wearing a bulletproof vest because she's on the scary streets of New York City surrounded by people from Senegal.
Yeah,
So
I know.
she calls
Texas.
ICE to do this. And now I know, for a long time, there's been like, in a lot of the stores, I don't know if it's still the case, but I remember 20, 30 years ago, I knew somebody who, when she was trying to get her acting career going, one of the jobs she had was to go into some of these places on Canal Street, see the really expensive high-end knockoffs, and working for like companies that would protect their IP or stuff like that. And she would go with video camera glasses and stuff like that. But this has been going on for years and years.
Yeah. This is like not a new thing. Like black folks always up must be migrants. Yeah, I mean, even if like, how do you know that these are undocumented people? She just said that they were migrants. Immigrants can be documented or undocumented. Like it's just racism. Like she just saw a bunch of black people and we're like, oh my God, what are these black people doing here selling counterfeit bags? She's gonna flip out when she goes to a night market. Yeah, like we don't like it. It's not even clear if these people are undocumented or not.
Nobody cares about it. In fact, not only did nobody care about it, people go down to Canal Street to buy that stuff.
People shopping on the video.
Like,
Strongly
I'll take my Louis Vuitton bag for $20, please.
recommend if you need AirPods or anything, they're not knockoffs. They're sealed and they're like $30.
Hey, I'll take two, please. $30.
New Yorkers know this. I think even tourists know this.
100%.
People come here to
this.
get knockoff stuff.
Yes.
So let's play. So is she the one who calls ICE, or is that just a
She
coincidence?
tagged
ICE is
them.
watching her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Presumably.
She tagged them on social media, and all of those ICE Gestapo goons who couldn't do, what was the threshold? 15 push-ups, these tough guys?
Yeah, 15
one
push-ups.
5 miles.
Yeah.
Although, to be fair, maybe these are the guys that passed the physical fitness test that so many of the other applicants are
Just squeaked by.
unable to do. So, like to see this immediate reaction by New Yorkers as they saw this going down.
Heck yeah. This is the kind of stuff that needs to happen every time ICE rolls around. Okay? This is the kind of response that the community needs to organize around and do every time ICE rolls up on their community. Like, look how quick and how much and how many people just like immediately gathered to protest ICE. This is great. I love seeing stuff like this. I allegedly brought a Prada bag in the Bahamas that was more Nada than Prada. You don't want to mess with New Yorkers. Yeah, I mean, hey, look, this is an example, folks. Anytime we see an act of resistance, now, no matter how big or small, whether it's one person or, tens of them, dozens of them, then it is good. It's good to see and good to highlight. And it shows that if you care about your community and you don't want Gestapo thugs rolling around your community bothering immigrants, then this is the kind of stuff that you need to do. I guess the right isn't so supportive of free market at all. No. Looks for Spider-Man. Ba-na-na-na-na-na.
Flipping them off.
Looks like people that just got off work too.
And by the way, like there's like literally zero violence. It's just a show of force. That's all you need. All you need to do, okay? All you need to do is show up, okay? Fascists are bullies. A lot of fascists are just weak bullies. That's it. And all it takes is for people to not comply, okay? And just to be clear, none of the stuff that these Gestapo thugs are doing is legal anyways. Okay? Pull out your phones, film ICE, and organize. Oh, I agree 100%. The No King stuff is great. You know, I was having kind of like a back and forth with somebody on the Majority Report chat with the whole No Kings thing. They were like, well, nothing happened, and what are they going to do? Just march around? You know what 7 million people is? That is a lot of people in every state. There was over 2,000. Look, if you feel like the No Kings thing is not enough, that's fair, and I agree with you. So round up those people that are showing energy against fascism and against authoritarianism and speak to them and say, okay, now what do we do? Now let's do something about this. That is how you use that, okay? There's 7 million people or more that stood up and said, we don't want kings, or another way of putting it, we don't agree with this authoritarian government. So use that, okay? So yeah, like, so what if it was like organized by liberal organizations? Some were lefty organizations too, but in any case, the point is, show up. We're the lefties. We're supposed to show up and say, okay, hey, all of you are here for anti-fascist action. All right, let's go. Here's what we do. And I hear rumblings of more and more and more talk about economic shutdowns, and having blackout dates. For example, I think in November or something like that. I don't know how viable or how many people are going to participate, but the rumblings and the conversations and the discourse is heading in that direction. And we as left-leaning people need to capitalize on that energy. Free Palestine, I agree.
Yeah, I mean, this is literally completely spontaneous.
Yeah, exactly. Completely spontaneous. Why? Because people are paying attention, okay? People are paying attention. And when you see these ICE goons roll up, this is what community building is all about, okay? It's not just knowing your neighbor. There's a reason why you want to have this type of community building. And it is so important, okay? This is how you resist fascism. This is a small micro environment as to how the national response should be. Does that make sense, folks? Boycotting Black Friday is a good idea. I agree. I mean, you know, I agree. Do you really need to be that consumerist? Maybe you do. I get it. The holidays, the supposed deals that you need to capitalize on. I get it. But I'm saying that hopefully, because I think I saw like a lot of posts of people trying to rally behind like a blackout date around that. Keep talking about that kind of stuff, okay? Because even if it doesn't materialize on the first try, keep talking about it. Keep talking about an economic shutdown. Should this nonsense keep happening? Should this nonsense continues? Talk about economic shutdowns. Talk about the next protest that's happening. Stuff like that. Make it happen.
And this is the thing with New York. It's much more dense place.
Yeah, not supposed deals. Not your first time. No. There was a time, okay, way back when I was a wee lad, where you might actually find some pretty decent deals. But not anymore. Not anymore. Like those days are gone. I remember like the last time I felt like I actually got a good deal on Black Friday was let's see, a very long time ago, and it was for a bike, okay, for a nice mountain bike that I still have till this day, by the way, and it still works. My bicycle still works. It's still the same bike I had since that year that I bought it, and it was for a great price, but that was a very long time ago. The DSA's manifesto is overthrowing the capitalist economic system. Yeah, I agree. Heck yeah. Join your local DSA. Support them if you have money, or join your local chapter. Or if you don't like the DSA, then find a local organization that does left activism, or find a direct action group that does stuff for the community, that feeds people. Whatever it is that you want to do. Whatever it is that you want to do. That pours the foundation for the left-leaning movements. I don't think you're a true socialist if you don't actually want to get rid of capitalism. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of, yeah, it's you have to, right? Like, socialism by definition, requires requires the means of productions to be democratically owned by workers. I mean, like, that's par for the course. By this I don't mean full communism, but like, communism is just a moneyless, stateless society, right? Ideally, the concept from of communism is to have a moneyless and stateless society, because ideally under a socialist economic system, you would reach a point where, like, okay, like, we're all good, so we don't need to be engaging in this kind of mentality. But that's the way I understand it. To simply think that my biggest criticism of social democrats is they simply think that that capitalism can be reformed, right? It can only come from identifying the fruit of the poisonous tree, is the authoritarianism, the lack of democracy, and all existence in society, where we spend by the far majority of every week and second, and do most of what we do in life that contributes to the real, concrete, tangible use of value of society, does or does not produce what of usable value is invested in. Also, as a consequence, influencing why it's made, for whom, and who gets how much. Yes.
So, what would normally be, 5 or 6 people yelling at them, all of a sudden they're going to have 50 to 100 people, surrounding them. And here they've grabbed one guy. I don't know how this is sequenced, this clip, but
it's also, the reporting is unclear how many they took, but they were moving south, basically towards 26 Federal Plaza, which is like basically one subway stop away from Canal Street. And the one thing where I'm saying, like, I agree with you, Sam, about the density and how unique this makes it, but my concern is that at least in Chicago and LA, they have mayors who are not compromised by corruption scandals and who are actually present in their office.
Oh, yes.
Like, the scary thing about New York here is
there's no leadership right now.
There's no leadership. Eric Adams is complicit.
Yep.
We don't know the extent of the deal that he cut to drop out of the race, but Sliwa is claiming that he was offered $10 million by some of these billionaires, donors that were so scared of Mamdani, so that voters would coalesce behind Cuomo. We don't know the extent of what the deal is that Eric Adams cut with nefarious actors, but he's not protecting New Yorkers. There's no way.
Yeah, I mean, we know that Eric Adams 100% did some shenanigans. Okay, Eric Adams 100% did some shenanigans to cover his own butt with regards to the potential scandals that he was facing with, like, corruption and bribery, if I remember. This does not surprise me at all. This does not surprise me at all. If you don't solve the concentration of wealth issue, what good does it do? Yeah, a lot of, like, social democrats, or I mean, I used to think I was one, but a lot of what liberals and social democrats think that they can do is they believe that capitalism can be saved, when in reality, what they're fundamentally arguing for is a reset. They want to reset the time, okay? Because eventually it's going to get back to where it is, right? And capitalism will again go back to its form that we're seeing now. What they're effectively arguing for is fundamentally a reset. They want to reset on the clock, but that's not that's not how that works. But that's not how that works. We tried that under FDR and Keynes and it failed. Yeah, because exactly my point, right? FDR FDR reset the clock, and lo and behold, a couple of decades later, like a generation later, you have like the Glass-Steagall Act has been repealed. All these specific like protections that supposedly we were supposed to have are all but gone. I mean, like it just resets the time. And here we are. How long has it been since FDR's presidency? 100-ish, I want to say, 1944. 80 something years. I'm bad at math, okay? But that's exactly my point. We tried that under FDR, and well, of course, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, we shouldn't give workers more rights, and we shouldn't put any restrictions. We just understand what it is. Just understand that what we're doing here. Just to be clear. Bad lefty, welcome. Consequently, that's what they get to. Yeah. It's based purely on my suspicion that most who self-ID explicitly as stalk them do so by getting there as well-intentioned folks who have basically started with Nixon to be truthful. Yeah, slowly but surely. All of those protections get warped without if you don't address the fundamental problems, right? If you think that you can solve the issue by just putting some kind of stopgap without actually having without actually addressing the underlying problem, then eventually you'll just get back to where you were. Gotten as far as you can possibly get in terms of better politics without taking serious analytical look at the actual drivers, class war, the economy, and politics as we find them. Yeah. Exactly. I guess like instead of me doing the about face, I just kept going further. Because at the end of the day, like what I call myself didn't really matter. What I called myself didn't really matter. The policies and politics that I've been pushing are the same. They're the same. The only thing that's changed is my ability to argue for them. And the perspectives and more theory, I guess, as more and more time has gone by and the more knowledge I acquire, the more easier it is for me to explain the positions that I have. Walking stick library, stronger labor unions with greater membership and collective bargaining would be a big help. Yeah, I agree. I'm not going to say no to that. Kavanagh covered Majority Report and Vanguard, criticizing them. Vanguard I almost get, but Majority Report has a pretty decent track record since I've been watching. Yep. The Hero of the Week should be awarded to New Yorkers. Yeah. In my opinion, on the way they've handled the critique of Plattner, or maybe not critique, but concern. Yeah, I mean, like, my position that I said yesterday or the day before is the same. The questions are there. I don't think that Plattner meaningfully addressed any of the problems that people are bringing up, and I think that I think that he's got a lot of splaining to do. The guy the guy made his own coffin, um, and he decided to put the nails in himself. I think they've been fair with Blattner, at least based on the points currently discussed everywhere, and some of the ways self-declared comrades reacting to people articulating concern with this specific military ties has me maybe even more concerned beyond even whatever way this one election and what we all more or less agree should, as if leftists in a sham democracy. I saw a new video for him touching on things. Press thumbs up, you grumpy commie bastards. Thank you. I'm gonna say it. I think that's another Fetterman. I know. Maybe. Can't be a Fetterman. It's quite possible we might see that. We might see that happen. And here we are. Maine is getting a Nazi. It's on them, not us. Well, that's true. I mean, I can't vote in Maine. Whether he knows or not that his values may be at least leftist developed as we would like to think, and maybe he even appreciates. I got a pair of knockoff Doc Martens for like $40. They were badass. Nice. Be welcome. Anyways, yeah, I mean, the stuff that's come out, is concerning is one way of putting it.
Weeks, all we've heard is how Trump's big, beautiful bill will cut Medicaid. But almost no one's reporting on a buried provision that would make Trump untouchable.
Yes, ground news. Anyways. Yeah, I appreciate the Tabernacle, by the way. I've seen some of his content. I occasionally get served the video by the Tabernacle from the algorithm. I occasionally get a video here and there. I've seen it. All they've really said is not impossible to not know the tattoo is Nazi and the people can grow and he's still got better policy positions and the competition, all fair points. He might be, but like those are kind of really important stuff that he should probably address in a better way. You know what I mean? Like, now I haven't seen anything recent that Plattner has tried to say. But I think like one of the original defenses that he tried to mount was like, I was 18, I didn't know, and it was dumb. And like, yeah, but I think I'm gonna need something more than that. And like, he did cover it up, but it seems to me it was in response to the criticism, which, hey, again, is good that he responds to criticism, but like, man, that's not how I would handle that. Oh, he just made a new video? Okay, I might check it out later. My big beautiful bill is the most successful. Screw the woke for making fun of it. His friends and family should have clued him in years ago. No way none of those people didn't know. Yeah, that's also a good point. I think I think someone brought this up like, hey, I was young and dumb too, and I didn't like get Nazi tattoos. So yeah, like, who among us, chat, has been young and dumb and decides to get Nazi tattoos, right? Who among us, right? It's like, oof. I didn't think Nazi when I saw it. Emma said the same thing. I think you have to be schooled a little extra with the Nazis to see it. Maybe. Maybe. I mean, maybe he really just didn't know what it meant. I don't know. But that doesn't make it better. The fact that like people can see it, like especially like politically like inclined, like maybe the average person might not get it, but people in politics and people who pay attention to that kind of stuff can see it. They can see it, and if you're running for for a political office, and it's gonna come up. You know what I mean? Like, it's gonna come up, and I think that maybe that would have required some introspection. My bigger issue is how gleeful he is about war. Yeah, he was a mercenary, right? Like, yeah, that's he's also a mercenary. Not exactly a good thing either. All of them, even the good ones, eat up all potential to talk about anything else. I mean, yeah, sure. Here's like here's the thing though. Like, unfortunately, politicians also tend to make decisions. So it's kind of like a catch-22, right? It's like, yeah, you end up talking about politicians and like what they said or what they didn't or who they are, and whatnot. But like, they also make decisions, and this is a person who may potentially win office and make decisions. So yeah, unfortunately, that does get talked about. Nadia, welcome. Their decision should be them bending over to workers and withholding labor. That's it. Yeah, I wish. Yeah, I wish it was that easy. I wish it was always like that. I wish like that the only thing that we had to talk about was like how I wish that like I hope and work for and pray that like the stuff that we have to talk about is like how we can make society more efficient on whatever section that you like. Like, for example, like energy or whatever. Like, yeah, like today, my union decided that we were going to make substantial changes to whatever. Like, I would love to be having that kind of conversation. It'd be that easy, but people are busy talking about politicians. I think so, but like, I think also to a degree, it's like you gotta know who you're talking about and who's making these decisions. That being said, of course, we should be moving towards that. End the bribery. Yep. Turtle Man is just as effective as Zoran. If people organize, who cares about the politician? Well, that's true. That's true. That's true. When the stakes are high, a measure of realpolitik needs to be considered. I mean, like, now more than ever, right? Now more than ever. Now more than ever. Cool stuff happening in Texas.
Wow, is it the early 2000s? Because I'm talking about the Texas State Board of Education using textbooks in order to violate separation of church and state. Seriously, back in the 2000s,
And just to be clear, any Republican conservative doesn't really care about the separation of church and state. They're explicitly against. They're explicitly against the idea of separation from church and state. The Overton window is very right-leaning here. Yeah, 100%. Like, 100%.
Site Skepchick featured frequent updates from my Texan friend Sam, who reported on what was happening at the time. At that point, 7 of the 15 members of the Board of Education were outright Christian fundamentalist creationists whose goal was to stop public schools from teaching the science of evolution. This was a huge story, not just because of the millions of children in Texas who would be going through school without getting essential.
Jesus, so life. Welcome, by the way. Politicians are just names. They should implement the demands of people. Politicians shouldn't run on anything besides what the people demand, but the people need to organize to be heard, or else it's just oh versus oh woo. I agree. Regardless of what nonsense I'm talking about, with politicians and who says what, the reality is people should be organizing, regardless. And I said this earlier. So yeah, I mean, regardless, that's true. Regardless of who's in power. So like, if Democrats somehow if Democrats somehow end up winning, and sweeping both houses, right, and take power back from Republicans, does that mean that we all get to go back to brunch? Does that mean we all get to go back to sleep? No, it doesn't.
Education about foundational science, but also because of how Texas influences the rest of the country. Texas is the second largest purchaser.
That's right, the Ponder Monkey.
Of school textbooks in the United States. And at the time, the number one largest purchaser, California, was having budget issues, so they weren't going to be able to order new books for a while. That meant that any changes Texas made to the textbooks would also end up in other states because the textbook publishers don't want to spend extra money producing different versions for different states. And it wasn't just about evolution. The theocrats in the Texas school board also tried to erase references to climate change and downplay slavery and overstate the role of Christianity in the founding and the culture of the United States.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we, back in the day, I don't know how prominent this is now, but yeah, they teach the Civil War. It's like the War of Northern Aggression, way back in the day. So yeah, Republicans are just as good as Dems if workers were organized enough to force to bend the knee. Yeah, and that's kind of like what is it? Walk and chew gum at the same time, right? Like, at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Win or lose these elections, Democrats, whatever. If Democrats win, then the play is still the same, right? Yeah, the lost cause, exactly. The play is still the same. Organize. Look, the play is still the same. The American Dream quote I like is, the American Dream is the whole world's nightmare. Wait, a big part of the founders' religion was being a Mason. I love how Marx referred to it something like Slavers' Rebellion.
At every step, the school board
welcome.
was challenged by parents, secular activists, and organizations like the now defunct Texas Citizens for Science and the still kicking ass National Center for Science Education. Thanks to their efforts, the creationists were not able to achieve all of their goals, but they never stopped trying, and they never will. In 2023, they managed to drop science textbooks from the curriculum for highlighting climate change, and they edited the remaining books to do things like removing a number of diagrams illustrating the evolutionary lineage of human beings from its high school biology textbook, while Discovery Education
Cool,
removed
man.
a reference to fossil fuel use, contributing to the greenhouse effect in its grade 6 textbook. And now, thanks to the current state of our fascist theocracy, things are only going to get worse. Last week,
Fantastic, man. Like you know, this is like very, very provable. In fact, it's why they had you learn about this at a very young age. Like you know that fossil fuels like cause like the greenhouse effect is real, right? Like if you have an excess amount of carbon, that traps heat, okay, and it creates a negative feedback loop. Where if you have more heat, more carbon, more heat, more carbon, more heat, more carbon. Like we know this. This is very, very, very known from like 10 million years ago, right? Like I'm obviously exaggerating, but the point being is that we've had extensive science on this, and it's not just said by random, left-leaning scientists. Okay, this was found and confirmed by even scientists that were hired by the fossil fuel industry. Like they knew about this a very long time ago. And that's why I carry a bag to fart in all day. Density is very key to this. Suburbia was created to prevent this kind of thing from happening because it hadn't been seen since 1919 Manhattan food riots. The military needs to consider climate change when they prepare for their operations. Yeah, they've known about this. Yeah, they've known about this. The military has been well known about climate change. The fossil fuel industry was well aware of their effects, their products' effects on the climate. I mean, like this has been known. Manda, welcome.
The New York Times published the results of a public records request revealing disturbing changes not to the science textbooks in Texas, but to their English language arts lessons. The changes exclusively focus on inserting Christianity wherever they can, while deleting most mentions of any other religions. Jesus alone was mentioned 19 times in the previous curriculum, and he's now mentioned 87 times.
Cool.
The New York Times describes how fifth graders
Oh man, I was raised as a creationist. Bullshit. Oof.
which is around the age of 10 or 11, will now study a psalm as part of a poetry lesson, while first graders around the age of 5 or 6 will discuss the parable of the prodigal son alongside stories like The Boy Who Cried Wolf. And most hypocritically, kindergarten children will learn in depth about the book of Genesis in a lesson on art exploration that notes that many artists have found inspiration for creating art from the words and creation stories in religious books. Kindergarten, that's 4 or 5 years old. That's the same age that these same lunatics claim is too young to even look at a picture book of 2 male penguins raising an egg. They say it's indoctrination at that age to even every accusation is just a confession, folks.
You know, when they talk about like, oh, school is indoctrinating children, like what they mean is, no, we want to indoctrinate children. This is what they should be learning. This is what they should be indoctrinated with. Yeah, 100% Soul Life. Well, at least the prodigal son is probably treated as fiction.
Knowledge that some kids have 2 mommies. Apparently, that's a great age to learn in depth about the book of Genesis. True story. I was raised Baptist, and when I was around 9 or 10 years old, I decided to
Yeah,
sit
the don't say gay bills.
down and read the Bible cover to cover. I had to go back over Genesis several times. First of all, because it was so short that I couldn't believe that this was the grand story that we had learned repeatedly in Sunday school. And second, because it was so stupid. To wit, let's take a look at the sample lesson printed in the New York Times to teach children sequencing. Ask students to think of the events that were mentioned in the read aloud. Use the prompts below and support students to order the events of the story. Which event happened first? God created light. What happened next? God created the seas,
Yeah, sure. Why not?
dry ground, and vegetation.
Yep.
What happened after that? God created the fish and birds.
Yep, sure.
Okay, so far so good. Then what happened? God created the animals.
Okay.
Well, hold on. What the fuck do they think a fish is? What's a
Oh my god.
bird? Are they bacteria now? What happened last? God created the first man and woman and the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, and also like this is so like toxic, like the concept that God, first of all, God created man, and then of course, obviously the man was first, and then to create the woman second out of the man, right? I mean, like, oh man, there's just so many problems with the way like this is made. It's just
Okay, so what the fuck are men and women? Are we not animals anymore? Oh, right. The new biology books will probably say we aren't. Animals are filthy things that are beneath us. The nonsensical nature of
well, they believe that a lot of like these fanatical Christians or fanatical religious zealots. It's not just limited to Christianity, but they believe that they have dominion, or they should have dominion over the earth and everything, and that's God's commandment or God's will. That we human, like, this is all one big playground for us. Okay, God gave us this entire planet to be one giant playground, and go forth. You know. Local cops are fifth columns everywhere. True.
Genesis-
I think you're catching up from the beginning, but yes.
the story is bad enough. But of course, what's truly awful here is that little kids
I don't think I can sing that one, John Lithium.
are going to come away from this thinking that it's true. You can easily teach sequences with an obviously made up story, like a story about a dog who walks down the street and finds a bologna sandwich. If young children walk away from that thinking that a dog actually did walk down the street and find a bologna sandwich, it doesn't really matter. It does matter if they walk away thinking that the Christian God created the universe in 6 days and also can't tell the fucking difference between a fish and a vegetable. That's a problem. That is indoctrination.
Yeah.
Previously, the curriculum introduced students to Christianity alongside other major religions, but that unit was cut. Now they can learn that Mansa Musa took a trip to Mecca without bothering to explain why that location is important and without mentioning the Prophet Muhammad. And one of the biggest changes was made in a section teaching fifth graders about Leonardo da Vinci by giving them 5 paragraphs on the biblical background of the Last Supper, including passages from the Gospel of Matthew.
Cool.
The good news, if there's any to be found here, is that only a quarter of Texas school districts have signed up for this curriculum. The very bad news is that I can guarantee that these lessons are going to end up in other states, particularly those red states that have made serious moves to demolish the wall separating church and state.
Yeah, I mean, like, this is like, okay, this has been a plan for quite a while. And like this whole like introduction of like PragerU videos as valid curriculum. Okay, PragerU, all of that is kind of like just adding to this, you know.
Georgia, Louisiana, Oklahoma, Florida, and other red states have targeted the education of minors to inject their Christian propaganda. Because, as always, every accusation is a confession.
Yep.
They know that actually educating kids in the arts and sciences creates well-rounded adults who reject authoritarian theocracies, and they simply cannot have that.
Yep. Tax the church then? No. They wouldn't do that. 1 second, folks. They want people just smart enough to run the machines. Exactly. They want obedient workers. If they want to ignore the separation of church and state, let's tax them. I agree. No, I 100% agree. These people are just freaks and won't do it. Let's check in with the dear leader and see what he's up to today. I'm sure that he's well and hard at work for the American people.
The ballroom and the Rose Garden patio, is the president looking at any other renovations or significant kind of projects here at the White House?
Not to my knowledge, no. But he's a builder at heart, clearly. And so his heart and his mind is always churning about how to improve things here on the White House grounds. But at this moment in time, of course, the ballroom is really the president's main priority.
Yeah, I see. The ballroom that was paid for by the wealthiest of wealthy people. That ballroom. Cool, I'm so glad that President Trump is really on top of things. Yeah, his most important priority is to get that gaudy, opulent, ballroom. Yeah, like, and just to also add to that, opulence and oppression go hand in hand. I voted for fancy balls. Not for you, not for me. We're just pores. No fancy balls for us. They get balls and we get ball cancer. Why do they need a ballroom? They destroyed the entire East Wing. Well, that's going to be the ballroom, of course. You know, priorities. Priorities, folks. Priorities. Let's check in with other very important priorities that the president has. Uh-oh. Yeah, more priorities here. As the Trump administration has decided that he's going to pardon another crypto bro scammer. President Trump has pardoned Changpeng Zhao, the founder of the world's largest crypto exchange, Binance. White House Press Secretary Karen Levitt confirmed to Fortune on Thursday President Trump has exercised his constitutional authority by issuing a pardon for Mr. Zhao, who was prosecuted by the Biden administration on their war on cryptocurrency, she said. Not because of all the really bad scamming that he did, but sure. It was because Biden was waging war on the cryptocurrency, which, by the way, is like, by definition, like the way crypto works is like a freaking a Ponzi scheme, essentially. It's one big short after the other. It's just a bunch of rug pulls. Is basically it. Yeah, I agree with you, Nadia. They believe that knowledge is fundamentally corrupting. Offer to make every child a math genius doing PhD math at 12, and they'd reject it. Yeah, 100%. They wouldn't, like, they can pretend all they want. They're like, oh, well, no, I wouldn't do that, and if my child was like that, I'd push. Nah. Fundamentally, like, those type of people absolutely believe that knowledge is fundamentally corrupting. 100%. A 100%. Without greenhouse gases, Joseph Fourier knew in 1824 the planet would have mean surface temperature below zero. Yeah, wow, I didn't know that, but that's wild. I'm glad that I know that now. Schumer and Jeffries should be blasting out daily updates on all this from a rapid response team, but instead we have to wait for Schumer to bungle through his bad puns so often. You see, now I can do this. We believe that President Trump is going to come to the table and do the right thing and stop abusing his constitutional powers and pardoning criminals. Me and minority leader Hakeem Jeffries, who's right here with me, have sent numerous letters informing the president that he shouldn't pardon criminals. I mean, let's be real, folks. He should sit down and make a deal with us. I will be waiting at the table. Boom, owned. Yeah, pump and dumps. Yeah, like crypto is just literally a bunch of pump and dump schemes. That's what it is. And somehow the Biden administration cracking down on these obvious, like, illegal ways of doing this, like that's apparently a war on cryptocurrency. The theocrats are called dominionists. Yeah. Yep. Arn's 1896 discovery was that temperature increased logarithmically with carbon dioxide concentration. In 1896. Yes, I'm not familiar with like all of the Bible stuff, but yes, dominionism is that whole concept that like we were put on this earth to take dominion over it. And I think you're right. I think you're right that it comes from that Genesis at the beginning. And after all, that's what God put us to do on this earth. Deeply grateful today for today's pardon and President Trump for upholding America's commitment to fairness, innovation, and justice. And the ability to scam people out of their money. The decision comes from months after months of reports that Trump was weighing whether to pardon Zhao, who is popularly known as CZ in the crypto industry. The Binance founder pleaded guilty to failing to maintain an effective anti-money laundering regime while he was CEO of the crypto exchange. He stepped down as CEO and served 4 months in prison in 2024. So yeah, this was all because of like financial shenanigans. Okay, As part of the 2023 plea deal, Binance agreed to pay $4.3 billion to settle charges with the Department of Justice. Prosecutors allege that the crypto exchange violated U.S. economic sanctions and money laundering laws. We need a banner. It's washing drug money too hard these days. Come to Binance and we got cake for you, one compliance employee wrote in internal company communications, according to the agreement. Yeah, this is the innovation that we're being told. That the crypto industry is providing. The crypto bailout is going to be epic. Following Zhao's resignation as CEO, Binance installed Richard Tang, a former financial regulator in the UAE and Singapore, as head of the company to telegraph to authorities that the exchange was focused on compliance. The pardon of Zhao does not appear to extend to his company Binance. The White House did not respond to our request for comment, asking for more details. We thank President Trump for his leadership and his commitment to make the U.S. the crypto scam capital of the world. Cool. It looks like Amazon plans to end 600,000 jobs and have AI do it instead. Oh man, we're doing so well. We're doing so great. Hey folks, is anyone tired of winning? We're doing so great. The price of BNB, the cryptocurrency associated with Binance, rocketed 15% after the news broke, notching a high of more than 1,150 according to data from Crypto Exchange. The president's pardon of Zhao is the clearest sign yet that the crypto industry has enjoyed unprecedented favor in the Trump administration. So yeah, zero. I mean, this is the Wild West essentially. Like it was bad before, but like the administration is actively encouraging this industry, which is not regulated at all. Instead of like pretending to try to regulate and put some of these people, in check to whatever, like however small that was. Under the Biden administration, like the Trump administration is actively like promoting like this obvious like scam industry. Hakeem Jeffries' entire career has been DNC inside politics to destroy progressives in primaries. You know what? I kind of believe that. I would tend to be like, yep, that's. I completely see that. It's like baseball cards, but imaginary. Formerly a crypto skeptic, Trump embraced the industry in his 2024 campaign after they gave him a bunch of money. Oh my God, it's fantastic. Fantastic stuff. When he entered the White House in January, Trump began to make good on his campaign promises because that's how it works. I give you money for your campaign. If you win, you give me favors. To make the U.S. the crypto capital of the world. Hey, you know who else tried to do that? El Salvador. How did that end up going for them? He pardoned Ross Ulbricht, who was sentenced in 2015 to life in prison for his role in founding the Silk Road as an online black market where visitors use Bitcoin to buy and sell illicit substances. He pardoned the founders of crypto exchange BitMEX, who pleaded guilty to running an exchange that prosecutors said failed to operate an effective anti-money laundering program. So the same thing with Binance. Trump also issued crypto-focused executive orders, and his administration slashed enforcement units on the Commodities Futures Trading Commission, or the FTC, the SEC, and the Justice Department. So cool. I mean, it's just the Wild West, folks. I mean, like at this point, like if you invest in crypto, okay, and you are not these people, just understand that like you're just giving these people money, because at some point all these like micro rug pulls just end up like making these people, like Trump has benefited from this. Literally, Trump has benefited from this. All you're doing is just like setting yourself up like for getting rug pulled. Okay. That is financial advice, by the way. Do not invest in any type of crypto whatsoever. I mean, unless you happen to be like a billionaire that owns so much money. I don't know why you would be watching this channel anyways. But yeah, like investing in crypto is about as fruitful as gambling. And you know the saying, right? The house always wins. Well, amid Trump's pro-crypto policies, his son Eric and Donald Jr. grew the family business with a sprawling array of crypto ventures. One of those, World Liberty Financial, has reportedly worked with Zhao and Binance. The confluence of the Trump family business interests with the president's official actions in office has alarmed ethics experts and Democrats. Oh, well, I'm so glad they're alarmed. I'm so glad. This is great. I'm so glad that they're alarmed that the president is just raking in billions, making crypto scams and whatnot, including his wife, Melania Coin and Trump Coin. Like, oh yeah, cool. I'm so glad that people are alarmed. If Congress does not stop this kind of corruption and pending market structure legislation, it owns this lawlessness, said Elizabeth Warren in a statement referring to a crypto bill that is under deliberation in the Senate. Cool stuff. I'm so glad. So glad. Yeah, I mean, we're supposed to believe that the president believes in laws, and we're supposed to believe that the president cares about law and order. I mean, the guy was convicted for 34 felonies related to fraud. So, yeah. Time to make Carlos Coin. You can make Truth Coin, right? Like, I should do that, right? Guys, by the time the next stream goes around, like, we'll have Truth Coin for sale, okay? I promise it'll be a sound investment for me. Yeah, you should seek sponsorship from Polymarket. Live from Polymarket Studios 2.0. The Daily Truth Podcast. Sponsored by Polymarket. And now with investments of Truth Coin. Hey, so this is cool. Trump has reversed his decision to send troops to San Francisco after conversation with mayor. President Trump said on Thursday that he's pulling back his decision to send troops to clean up crime, which troops cannot do, by the way. Although that's kind of irrelevant. But anyways, Trump said on social media that he spoke with the city's mayor, Daniel Lurie, who asked the president to give him a chance to turn things around. Honestly, this is kind of like very, very, very bad energy. Like, this is low energy. The fact that this guy is sitting there begging the president to not send in troops, when really what he should have said was, you don't have the authority to do that. So if you do, that's we're gonna sue or whatever. Like, at least stand up to the guy. This is weak. I'll hold out until you're selling dick pills. The federal government was preparing to surge San Francisco on Saturday, but friends of mine who... Oh, this is Trump. The mayor, Daniel Lurie, who is making substantial progress. I spoke to Mayor Lurie last night. He said very nicely that I give him a chance to see if he can turn it around. Wait, so which is it? Like, either there's a problem that needs to be solved, or somehow there's good progress. Like, I don't understand, which is it. Ivermectin. Please, Mr. President, please. Trump said the move could be a mistake, that he could fix things much faster, but ultimately said, like, let's see how you do. Obviously, like, and this is insane. This is delusional. Okay, this is delusional. This is delusional. The mayor talked to the president and the criminals mysteriously vanquished. Yeah, it's done. Like, there's, I guess. Crypto makes sense for transactions, but not holding or investing in it would be a mechanism for how ATMs and credit cards work behind the scenes if it was being used legitimately. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure. Like, the technology itself isn't the problem, and I wish, like, I wish, like, it was, used properly like this. I would say I most likely wouldn't have a problem with, like, using crypto in that way. But, like, obviously, people get greedy. Capitalism, the mindset of capitalism comes in and says, like, let me mess that up real quick. And now it's just like a bunch of, like, rug pulls. That doesn't mean that you can't use crypto in a way that makes sense. It's just like, yeah, most of the time it's just used to scam people out of money. Therefore, we will not search San Francisco on Saturday. I talked to him and he said, yes, sir. The criminals will be gone by midnight. And that's it. Crypto is redundant in any form, in my opinion. Dr. Peter Hotez has gone extensively on the record promising the mRNA, how promising the mRNA technology is promising. Yeah, I mean, mRNA technology has been around for a minute, but in the way that it exists, yeah, it does have, it seems to me like it does have some quite good potential. In a statement, Laurie confirmed that he spoke with President Trump, saying he told him the same thing he told residents. San Francisco is on the rise. We have work to do, and we would welcome continued partnerships with the FBI, DEA, ATF, and the U.S. Attorney to get drugs and drug dealers off our streets. But having the military and militarized immigration enforcement in our city will hinder our recovery. But, like, again, this is the problem. We appreciate the president understands that we are a global hub for technology, and when San Francisco is strong, our country is strong. This is the problem, right? Like, this right here is the problem. The president isn't interested in actually dealing with crime. Like, the idea that we keep not just the media, but, like, these weak politicians, these weak Democratic politicians, continue to concede the fact that this has anything to do with crime is really ludicrous. Like, Trump isn't doing this because he's genuinely interested in trying to lower the crime rate, okay? If he did, if Trump was really interested in sitting down and thinking about what would lower crime rates, he would move in the direction of solving the underlying socioeconomic problems that tend to increase crime, that tend to be associated with the increase of crime. That's what he would be doing, but he's not. He's not doing anything except consolidating power. This is about the consolidation of power and the continued show of force that the president likes to do because he fancies himself. He fancies himself a dictator, and so far, he's been right. So far, no one stopped him, so he's kind of feeling himself, and he's right to. He's right to feel himself, right? Nobody stopped him. If he's threatening to send the military to whatever city that he wants, he can do it, and he has done it. So that's what this is about. Like, stop talking about, like, crime, okay? Seriously, stop talking about crime. This has nothing to do with crime, okay? If you want to talk about crime, talk about how to deal with the socioeconomic problems, okay? Deal with poverty. Get people the help that they need. Make sure people have food, housing, education, healthcare. That's how you deal with crime. You want to talk about drugs? Talk about universal healthcare systems and talk about how you want treatment plans under these healthcare systems that would provide rehab treatments to help people that want to get help. If you want to talk about drug dealers, then decriminalize drugs. Decriminalize drugs, destroy the black market by making it not a crime that they can take advantage of. The crime is that the political participation by ethnic minorities and left-leaning people is deemed illegitimate. Yeah, true. It does occur to me that he truly is running the government like a business. Yeah, exactly. The type that you would hollow out and peace out and jump off with your golden parachute as the business crumbles and you've sold it off for parts. you sold off the business for scraps. Like that's the business that he's running. Truly the businessman's businessman. Yeah. Just as arbitrarily and efficiently, incompetently and dictatorially as any modern capitalist enterprise. Yep, that the only purpose it serves is to push that number up and then be sold for scraps to private equity companies, which incidentally is kind of what's happening. Lurie said Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem reaffirmed the decision in a conversation on Thursday morning. My team will continue to monitor the situation closely, and our city remains prepared for any scenario. So thanks, dude. Really cool. Really, really cool. Man, look at this tough guy. Look at this tough guy. Incredibly, everything you're describing is well above the pay grade of the businessman. You bankrupted several casinos. How can you even bankrupt a casino? I mean, like, because you're Trump and you can just do that. And when the casino goes bankrupt, you sell it and you move on. Who cares? Because you're like a billionaire running off daddy's money. You can fail as many times as you need to. You can fail as many times as you need to. Welcome, bipedal meatbag. Yeah, exactly. A business. Exactly. Only only when you run business like a government, real people on a mass scale tend to suffer those consequences. It's not like if you destroy a business like a game development studio or whatever, then the people that are in that business suffer, but it's kind of stuck to that business. But if you run a business like a country, then you're talking about 300 and something million. Wow, you have no idea how business works. No, really, I don't. Then please explain. You know, we all want to know the massive lesson we're about to learn here. Please explain. Please. The crime statistic Republicans are most concerned about is that 78% of registered Democrats have a positive opinion of socialism. Yep. When you're famous, they let you do it. I have no idea how businesses works. I have no idea how capitalism works. Sure. Please show us, enlighten us, you know. Enlighten us. Yeah, you should even start a stream on it, you know? Own me. Conservatives like to falsely claim the government should be run like a household. Right, when that's not how that works. Like, you can't run a government like a business. You can't run a government like balancing a budget like you would in a normal, like, household. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, for one, households can't print their own money. Well, we could, but that's a crime, apparently. 0% chance the person who said that has read Capital. Or, like, actually understood how capitalism really works. A lot of people that pretend that that pretend to defend capitalism in a dogmatic way have no idea how capitalism really works at all. It's funny how that works. It's funny how how usually and generally speaking, left-leaning people have a much better understanding of how capitalism actually works, which is why they're arguing against it. Versus people who pretend that they know what capitalism is and try to defend it like it's like a religion, like in a dogmatic way, as if capitalism is like an ideology that they need to defend. It's bizarre how that works. You can with the right printer. But that's a crime, apparently, or isn't a poor like me. Well, yeah, I mean, if you're rich, you know, then you could print your own money. You would get pardoned by the president, you know. Kind of like how atheists often know more about the Bible than Christians. Yeah, it's also a general trend as well. The content of Das Kapital is entirely on how capitalism works and never touches on political activism or how to run a socialist state. Yeah. That's exactly where I'm going with it. You're right. It's the whole point is like exactly like most left-leaning people who sit down and argue against capitalism is because they've dedicated a significant amount of time in understanding how it works. If crypto appeared during Eisenhower, all crypto CEOs would have been arrested. All right, folks, you get a quick peek at the cat. Before we do our final story. Well, to be fair, there's no U.S. president that isn't without. There's no U.S. president without without a mark. Armed police swarm student after AI mistake bag of Doritos for a weapon. I know this sounds like something out of like an Onion article, but the ramifications are quite serious. Like, I know it sounds kind of funny in the surface, but this could have ended in a really bad situation. What awaits is Pringles. Eisenhower signed off on the CIA coup against Arbenz in Guatemala and Mossadegh in Iran. Yeah, like Bipedal said, there's no president without war crimes. Concerns over AI surveillance in schools are intensifying after armed officers swarmed a 16-year-old student outside Kenwood High School in Baltimore when AI gun detection systems falsely flagged a Doritos bag as a firearm. Taki Allen was hanging out with friends after football practice on October 20th when multiple police cars suddenly pulled up. It was like 8 cop cars came pulling up for us, and Allen told local news. They started walking towards me with guns, talking about get on the ground. I was like, what? They made me get on my knees and put my hands behind my back and cuffed me. They searched me and found nothing. Allen was handcuffed at gunpoint. Police later showed him the AI captured image that triggered the alert. The crumpled Doritos bag in his pocket was mistaken for a gun. We might have what you call an exactly unhealthy obsession with exactly how business does in fact work as a precondition to having the beliefs that we do. I could be the first now that I know I have absolute official access immunity per the Supreme Court. Yeah, you got a permit for that bag of Doritos? Yeah, and they still can't keep kids safe, right? Like anything but dealing with the actual problem. They'll have AI registering bags of Doritos as firearms, but crickets when we ask for, like, I don't know, basic stuff. It was mainly like, am I gonna die? Are they gonna kill me? They showed me the picture. It said looked like a gun. I was like, no, it's chips. I mean, like, how wild. Oh, this all makes sense. He's a person of color. Gotcha. The AI system behind the incident is part of OmniAlert's gun detection technology introduced in Baltimore County Public Schools. It scans existing surveillance footage and alerts police in real time when it detects what it believes to have a weapon. Yeah, cool. OmniAlert later admitted that the incident was a false positive, but claimed that the system functioned as intended, saying its purpose is to prioritize safety and awareness through rapid human verification. Oh, okay. So real quick, how did they do in this one? Baltimore County Public Schools echoed the company's statement in a letter to parents offering counseling services to students impacted by the incident. Yeah, so that's really cool. Well, it's like a pattern, but I'm autistic, so I see patterns everywhere. We really ought to know to assume that until proven otherwise. But yeah, I mean, The AI says he's sus by default. We understand how upsetting this was for the individual who was almost shot, because we all know how very put together cops are when it comes to dealing with this kind of stuff. We all know how very emotionally stable and rational police are when it comes to stuff like that. I mean, like, I'm surprised that he wasn't just shot on the spot. So yeah, our counselors will provide direct support to the students who were involved. Well, cool, thanks. They're just doing the Peter Griffin meme now. Yeah, we're traumatized, dude. But here's this free counseling. They're just doing the Peter Griffin meme now. Yep, time to sue. Yep. Alan says that no one from the school has reached out to him personally. They didn't apologize. They just told me it was protocol. But I was expecting at least somebody to talk to me about it. The teen now says he no longer feels safe going to school. If I eat another bag of chips or drink something, I feel like they're going to come after. They're going to come again. The case has sparked fresh debate over the reliability of AI surveillance tools and the real-world consequences, especially schools. Yeah, the real-world consequences was this kid almost got shot. That's the consequences. This incident comes as more institutions implement AI technology. Earlier this month, Major General William Hank Taylor, one of the top officers in the U.S. Army, admitted to using ChatGPT to make key military decisions. Fantastic. Yeah, we all know about the UK stuff that's been making the rounds. But yeah, this is wild. This is wild that a kid was almost potentially shot and because of a bag of Doritos. I mean, like, I know it sounds kind of silly, like in a way, in a dark humor kind of way. It's kind of silly that you're being held at gunpoint, a child, mind you, over a bag of Doritos that registered as a firearm on an AI surveillance detection system. But seriously, this could have ended so much worse. It told someone to remove their face. Yeah, it's happened in the UK. Excuse me. In the UK, they introduced this age verification stuff that's been going around, requiring users to pass a facial scan to prove that they are over 18. This has left some adults unable to access content, such as Britain's most tattooed man, who said the age check system told him to remove his face because it interpreted his tattoos as a mask. So it thought the tattoos was a mask, when in reality it's just tattoos. It was probably Cool Ranch. Yeah, meanwhile, Uvalde, they can't be bothered to stop a school shooter. Yeah, but they'll come in guns blazing. Because some kid, had some Doritos in his pocket or something. Omnilert says it delivers instant gun detection and near zero yeah, but the problem is, like, when it happens, it could have really bad ramifications. Right, he almost got shot by the thing meant to prevent him from getting shot. Yep. Exactly. All right, folks, it's time for me to get out of here. It's about just over 7 o'clock. Thank you all. AI should be used for human intervention. They claim that there's human vetting when a positive goes up, but I don't know to what degree that actually happened. I don't know to what degree that actually is happening. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate all of you guys being here. Thank you for your support. You guys are what makes this channel go. Do all the stuff. Click all the links. If you want to support the channel directly, there's all the stuff, folks. Check out the merch store, tip, Discord. Check out my show on this space every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Substack. All the stuff is right there. Thank you, Heath. Thank you, Michael Hesser, for modding the chat. Thank you all for being here. My son's security took an umbrella as a pew-pew and the system went into lockdown. Jesus. Ground level news. The PogChamp chess thing. No. Computers should really be scaled back as part of people's lives. I agree. Thank you, guys. It was mostly Michael Hasser. Yeah, but I see you. I see you. And I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Going back to Bad and Panada. Yeah, human review in that way. Probably the same way they consider appointed defense counsel good enough for what us poors deserve. Yeah, exactly. Let's watch South Park, dude. I'm down. Go get some food. We should all go back to using clay tablets. Yeah, but with screens. Alright, folks. Time for me to get out of here. Thank you all for being here. As always, folks, please stay safe. Please take care of each other. Aviana, I hope to see you guys in the next one Monday around 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Oh, and my phone just died. Alright, I guess we're doing it manually. See ya! Alright, folks, hang tight. We're heading out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye. No. But definitely scale back.